Today's video is a little bit longer than normal. Normally, I like to make my videos very short and sweet, 3 minutes to 4 minutes consumable material. This is different though. We're not looking at Justin Trudeau. We're not looking at Pierre poilievre. No, we're looking at a senator in the Senate. I would only assume Senator Don Plett. And the video we're watching is one that he's posted on his Twitter account. You don't need a Harvard law degree to know that the Prime Minister has blatant conflict of interest with Beijing's interference. Now, this is a very important video to watch from start to finish because it shows you that there are good senators in Canada. This is very, very important. So let's just get right into it.
Is around the foreign interference in our elections. I'm going to do something that I usually don't do, Leader. And that is I'm going to quote a Liberal, someone who recently posed a very good question about the Prime Minister's feeble response to reports about Beijing's interference in our elections. These are the words of Warren Kinsella, a senior staffer in the Chrystia government, Leader, from a recent column, and I quote, "How can he decide who will investigate China's malfeasance and what their terms of reference are and when they will report, when he is the prime beneficiary of the interference?" The prime beneficiary. Warren Kinsella says that Justin Trudeau is the prime beneficiary. Leader, you don't need a Harvard law degree to know that the Prime Minister has a blatant conflict of interest here. The communist regime in Beijing interfered in our democracy. There is no question about that. And he benefited from it. Why should the Prime Minister have any say in how this is being investigated?
Senator Gold.
Well, thank you for your question. All of the investigations into the elections concluded that the elections were not affected by China's and others' attempts to interfere. Attempts, certainly they were. And this is even the position of the Leader of the Opposition.
But they somehow got money.
The Prime Minister has taken steps to address the issue and get to the bottom of it. NCCOP was asked to complete a review to assess the state of interference in federal electoral processes, as you know. NCIRA will set its own mandate and the scope of its study of the 43rd and 44th elections in the coming days. These findings will be reported to Parliament. And as we all know by now, the Prime Minister appointed the Right Honourable David Johnston as an independent special rapporteur to look into foreign interference. And colleagues, it is important to underline the specifics of this. Specifically, he will examine the information related to the 2019 and 21 federal elections to determine what the government did to defend itself against electoral interference. He will build upon the work of NCCOP and NCIRA. He will identify any outstanding issues that require attention so that Canadians can continue to have confidence in our electoral system and our democratic institutions. He is to recommend any additional mechanisms or transparent processes, such as a formal public inquiry.
Doesn't even seem like he believes what he's saying.
Reinforce our confidence, and this by May 23rd, 2023. He will submit regular reports to the Prime Minister, which also will be shared with the leaders of the opposition, and made available to all Canadians, and is expected to complete his review by October 31st of this year.
Senator Plett.
Well, as I said, he's the beneficiary. Why did he return hundreds? Why did the Trudeau Foundation return hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that they clearly thought the foundation should not have received? And now we find out that the Prime Minister himself has received thousands of dollars of donations from very questionable sources to his own riding. For the past 3 weeks, we've seen Liberal MPs filibuster at committee to block the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff from saying what she knows about the Beijing interference. And then they say it's political when the opposition asks questions. Yesterday, the Trudeau government threatened that a motion before the other place to compel Ms. Telford to testify could well be a matter of confidence, obviously to get Jagmeet Singh on side.
Everybody hates Jagmeet.
Ms. Telford will appear before committee, but also seemed to warn that she wouldn't have much to say. This is a farce, leader. The Prime Minister doesn't need the former Governor General or any made-up special rapporteur to tell Canadians the truth about what he knew. He can tell Canadians the truth. Instead, we've seen the Prime Minister completely unable or unwilling to answer straightforward questions, leader. If the Prime Minister had and has nothing to hide, he'd be able to answer questions, wouldn't he? If he had nothing to hide, he wouldn't keep bending over backwards to keep the truth from coming out. Don't you agree, leader?
Oh, man.
Unsurprisingly, colleague, I don't agree. I think the Prime Minister has put into place the measures appropriate for the nature of the information that would have been shared by security organizations and others, put into place mechanisms that this government introduced, like NCCOP, and has appointed someone with impeccable integrity to advise both him and Canadians as to what additionally needs to be done to protect our democratic institutions. And again, it is all evidence accepted by all opposition parties is that, in fact, the elections were not compromised, despite efforts that were being made, and therefore, in that regard, thank you.
Wow, he can't even remember what he's saying.
The Canadians should have confidence in the results of the last elections and confidence that the steps the government and our institutions have taken and will take to protect the integrity of our institutions will continue.
Well, how about if somebody pays hundreds of thousands of dollars or any money really to help somebody else win something? Then, yeah, I mean, I would say that that's pretty much corruption. That is grounds for a very thorough, unbiased investigation. We all know what Trudeau is guilty of. The evidence is there. It's a matter of, are you actually absorbing the information, or are you turning a blind eye to it? Well, it's good to know that senators are not turning a blind eye to it, and I'd love to know what you think. Do you think that they should continue with the special rapporteur or make it as public of an inquiry as possible and put Trudeau on blast? I'd love to know your comments down below. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give a like on the way out. Check to see if you're subscribed. Hit that button. It's free to do, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching the entire video. If you want to help grow this channel, you can like and subscribe. I've made it really easy for you. You can subscribe by hitting this button right there. Or if you want to continue watching another video, you can do so right here. And if you'd like to move on to question period highlights, I have an additional channel called House of Canada, and that is linked right there. Basically, it's just Trudeau getting completely destroyed, and Jagmeet gets pegged by Trudeau because that's what he is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.